So there's a lot of good news from this little article that I found here, which comes from IGN's page, which we'll take a look at here in a second. But Valve, if you know that they're now trying to get into that space, that portable space, because they see that Nintendo got into that with their hybrid console, the Switch, and they know that there's money to be made there. So they wanted to get a piece of that, and they're doing that. It's been kind of a slow go as of late, but according to this article, and we'll just take a quick peek here. Let me scroll back up here. There we go. So, starting off here, Valve has announced that it'll be shipping out more Steam Deck handheld devices in Q3 as the company's production has increased. Now, that's a good thing because a lot of people are still looking forward to getting their hands on this. There's been a lot of good things said about this device, a lot of games that have been shown off, obviously not on a screen capture or anything like that, but just, trying to showcase what it can really do. And I've seen some gameplay. One of the more notable ones was Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, by the way, is on Steam now. It's on sale, at least at the time I make this video, and you also get the DLC, which is FF7 Remake's Intergrade, which I've never actually played. I'm just playing through the main story of it right now currently, but I will eventually get to that, so I'm looking forward to playing that little bit of DLC there. But yeah, it's on sale right now if you didn't know. So check it out now. It's probably just for the summer sale, but it is there at the time I make this. So, anyways, a lot of cool things said about the Steam Deck. It's really looking cool as far as like it's how it's performing very well with the games that you can put on there. And this is definitely going to give Nintendo a run for their money, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end here. So, basically, they're going to be shipping out a lot more here, and there was a tweet basically saying here, getting a lot of the batches out there for the batch of Q2 emails, and they'll start sending Q3 reservation emails on the 30th. Production has picked up, and after today, we'll be shipping more than double the number of Steam Decks every week. Now, like doubling the numbers like that, that's good. That's very good. I'm very happy to see that because I really think that this is going to force Nintendo to do something. But again, we'll talk about that in a second. They're also giving out some more software updates, like a couple of ones that were down here they were talking about, including the lock screen and window switching capabilities. Now, again, I don't have this device, so I don't know. I am kind of surprised to see that they don't have like a lock screen feature already, or that it didn't have one at release. That's kind of strange. But regardless, that's kind of where we're at with all of this. I know it's been kind of slow for a little while, and a lot of other people have been really, really waiting. So I think this is a good sign. And Nintendo, you guys should be really freaking out right now. In fact, this is what I wanted to talk about here. I honestly think that Nintendo is freaking out about this behind the scenes. Obviously, they're not going to show it. And despite how well they're doing in terms of the sales of the Switch, I mean, it has been kicking ass. Like, let's be real. The Switch has been kicking ass because of their first-party titles, Nintendo's IPs. They got all the indie developers producing games physically, too, mind you, because a lot of people like collecting that stuff physically. And so there's still a big market for it. So that's another big one there. They're not getting as many... they were at first, mind you, a lot of them were ports, but they were getting a lot of third-party, like, AAA games. And I feel like that's slowly kind of just, like, it's starting to kind of die off a little bit. Like, it's not really there. Maybe there's some other games that are coming out for it that I don't know about. You guys let me know. But I don't think that that's really there anymore. And Nintendo's really no stranger to that, because if you look back at their history, it basically started with the N64. I mean, it was a dumb mistake, a lot of people will say. I kind of feel that way myself, but going with the cartridge based technology versus the CD-ROM technology, and that's how it really hurt them. And then pretty much over the years leading up to this point, they were getting a couple of the third-party companies on board with their console, but that's only because it was selling so well. I mean, the Switch is, like I said, it's a good selling piece of hardware. It's an old, outdated piece of hardware, but it's good. It's good that they're still selling this. And that's also the other thing I want to say is that because it's older hardware and now we've got things like the Steam Deck, Valve saw that Nintendo was making a lot of good moves with the Switch and that they were very successful with the Switch. But because the Steam Deck is more capable than the Switch, over the years, Valve had some time to work with this. Technology was getting a little bit better, and so now they finally were at a point where they're like, okay, we can compete with this and we can put something out there that's even better. And I really feel like this is going to give Nintendo a run for their money. It's not going to cause any sort of like damage to Nintendo specifically in the next like however many months or even a year. It's going to take some time. I would say in the next couple years, and then who knows, maybe Nintendo will finally put out something new at that point, because at this point, I think, hasn't the Switch been out for like over 5 years or something like that? Like it's over 5 years, I think that's what it was. Yeah, I think it's been over 5 years now. I mean, we're going to be coming up on the 6-year anniversary of the Switch next year, and believe me, that's going to get here a lot quicker than you think. I don't know if you know this, but when they released the Switch, it was technically out of date. That system was out of date when it first launched. They probably, because at that point in time they probably wanted to do something and kind of like up the hardware a little bit more, but they wanted to try to keep it reasonable in terms of like how much it would actually cost them to manufacture this thing. So, and plus Nintendo really has a history of, let's be honest, they're not really one for putting out like the most powerful console on the market. That was like, I think the only times they really did that was with the SNES, trying to compete with the Sega Genesis at the time. And then I would say the N64 was a little bit more powerful, but like in terms of the cartridge versus CD thing, I just think that really hurt them in the long run. But either way, they don't really have a history of putting out, like really powerful hardware. They just don't. I just kind of wonder if like, will this force them to do anything in terms of like trying to, compete with Valve, and who in the next couple of years could potentially like take that throne? Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of a toss up at this point. Maybe Nintendo's still going to ride that wave. I don't know, but it is going to be interesting to see where it all goes, especially when Steam produces more of the Steam Decks and putting more of them out there. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. So unfortunately, it's just going to be a waiting game for everyone else who's kind of looking at this on the outside, and everyone else who's really excited to get their hands on one of the Steam Decks. But I think the Steam Deck is a real competitor here, and I think that competition is good, because when you have competition, like if you have a company that's doing well and no one else is coming close, even if like they have some competition, right? And they're still up top, like they're still doing really well, they're number one. They don't force themselves to really do anything to try to make things better, to try to like, win you back over. Like say, some of their fans or whatever go over to the other competitor, that's when they'll really do something. They want to keep you in their camp. So again, what I'm trying to say is that competition is good. It's good for the industry overall, and honestly, we're the winners. Like, that's what it really boils down to. We win because they're having to force themselves and going back and forth and trying to put out the best of the best. We win. That's all it is. So I think it's a good thing. So again, only time will tell, and I'm kind of excited to see where this all goes. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one.